There's not going to be
What's up, everybody?
Hey, what's going on?
So we are here today to talk about Tap into the Future and answer any questions that anybody might have about it, and hopefully clarify anything if you're not sure as we go into this event. So
yeah, we get a lot of questions. I mean, Tersh and I and Julie and we've gotten a lot of questions on Tap into the Future. Why have this event? Why in October? Like all the questions, right? Because we all know our schedule in October is stupid busy, so we understand. But you know, before we really jump into this, and we have a little deck with some stuff, we're going to go over the speakers, what they're going to be talking about, what you're going to experience at the event, so you really know what you're getting yourself into before you get there. But Trade Automation Pros is TAP, okay? So just so anyone that's paying attention to this, anytime you see the acronym TAP, it's Trade Automation Pros. And of course, you made these cute little hats that says I tap that. The purpose is to automate your business. I literally just had this conversation in a Facebook group like an hour ago because somebody's like, hey, is there anyone that can implement AI for my business? And most of the time, I would say probably 90 to 95% of the time, people want automation in their business with AI to enhance what they're already doing. They don't just want AI because now we have Manus and ChatGPT and Grok and Claude, and we have all these tools doing all these things, but we still have to copy, paste, move data around and do all these extra tasks. And then we have to put like content on a doc, put a task into a system. Like there's just so many other things. So we're still having to manually touch a lot of things. And a lot of that work is kind of beneath what business owners and managers and administrators should be doing. So we want to really streamline that stuff. We want to teach you guys how to think through this stuff.
Absolutely. We have one question here. What should we
Hey, Carissa.
come prepared with? Honestly, just you can take notes if you'd like.
A clear mind.
Yeah.
And be ready to learn.
That's it. Just have an open mind to it, to the process. And really, honestly, if you're not sure about something, ask a question because this is very informal. We want to answer any questions that anybody might have when it comes to automation, but we want to explain to you what Tap into the Future is even going to be and why it would be of value to be there. Jen McKee says she's so excited for it. Yeah, we're excited too. We're excited to have Jen there. So I guess with that being said, Josh, you want us to get started here?
Yeah, let me go ahead and figure out getting.
I got you.
I think this. Oh, you know, the hard part about having so many screens is trying to figure out when you're sharing your screen, which screen to share. I think it's this one. There we go. I'll do that. So can you just see the presentation now?
No, we see like the back end of it. Here, I'll share it from my side.
Okay. Sorry, technical difficulties. We'll get this right
Yeah,
though.
you do have a bunch of screens open there.
Yeah, a lot.
Thank
you.
So the date of the event is October 3rd through 5th. We have a couple tickets still left. If anybody is interested in this, there is actually going to be a coupon code at the end, a discount code, but tapintothefuture.ai is actually the landing page. And if you've heard us talk about AI and automation, you've heard us say optimize, automate, delegate. And that is what we live by. So,
and we're in the premise of this is we're going to go a lot deeper. Like, what does that mean? Because it can mean a lot of things to a lot of people, but we're going to give you guys a framework and actually go through real live examples of these things in person. So that way we're taking examples from the crowd. And that's the nice thing about, because this isn't going to be an event with 500 or 1,000 people. There's gonna be a max of 150 people at this event. So it's going to be not super small, but not super big. It's kind of that like middle ground. So that way you guys can get questions answered by these vendors, because all of our vendors that we're going to have, which we'll put them up on the next slide, are focused on technology, moving things forward. All of these companies are either implementing some sort of automation or AI or both into what they do.
Absolutely.
And our goal is to bring some of that stuff to you guys, but also teach you how to make it work for your business.
100%. Charles said, guess you need AI for technical issues. Yeah, it's true.
I know that would be great, Charles, if I could get one of those.
For real. Huge shout out. We want to give a shout out to everybody that's participating in this event and making this event possible. We have LG as our sponsor, as our lead sponsor, and iWallet. And then, as we mentioned before, we have Keyheart Marketing. Jen McKee is going to be there, and I'm excited because there's a ton that even I seen today. Jen was posting about ways that she's using ChatGPT in marketing. So, like, we have a ton of like-minded individuals who are going to be there and who are using AI and automation currently in their business. And one of the things that I want to reiterate is this particular event is one of those events where we it's not like a lot of theory. It's a ton of like, okay, this is how I do it in my business. Someone raises their hand, says, how can I implement that in my business? And we just go straight into, all right, this is how we're going to do it. And on Sunday, one of my favorite things is we have this speed round dating type thing.
Swipe right.
Yes, where you can
it's
actually
our little play on. Yeah, it's our little play on Tinder.
Yeah,
but for automations.
Well,
it's not automation. Dirty, I swear.
Right. So it's one of those things where like you go from table to table to table and say like this table is building out an automation that does task management using say Trello or something like that. And you have Service Titan and you're using Trello, how to connect those two together. And then you have another table that's doing something else. And so you can like move from table to table and actually put into practice the implementations like of the ideas that you're thinking about on Saturday. But
well, and not only that, so if you guys, anyone's been following us, we have a school community. It is a paid community that we've been teaching people how to do this stuff already. And that's really where this stuff came about is Terj and I have nerded out over automation for years. And then AI came about and we're like, how do we implement this into our workflows so the workflows are better? But most of the workflows are still automated. Now, don't get me wrong. We use ChatGPT for research and content, helping put together webinars and all kinds of things for us, questions for guests on the podcast. But those are one-off things. Those aren't really things that have like a workflow attached to them. But the workflow stuff, like Terj and I was looking at our Zapier account last month. We just upgraded from 50,000 tasks to 100,000 tasks a month. And we went over that. Like you're getting very experienced people who actually build and do these things every single day. Because I know a lot of times you go to events and like some of this, and it's not the bag on any of the speakers, but it's theory. They don't actually implement a lot of this stuff. These are things that I literally just implemented a brand new workflow that I've never done today. And I know, Tersh, you're always working on stuff and trying to help people with stuff. And we're starting to build some of these things for other people that are new to us. So we have a lot of, there's usually a way, like if you have a question, we know either A, can it be done? And B, if it can't, what's a workaround or what's another way to do something? Or maybe there's a software tool that solves that problem. So that way you can get that problem solved. Like in our school group, we had someone that wanted to take commissions out, throw them into Google Sheets, have a formula. And a lot of that was, I mean, it can be done, but it's a little complicated. I think he ended up going with Wink reports, for example, because there are tools that do those exact things. But streamlining that and making sure it matches up with your budget is really what we want to do. We want to get you the right answers to your specific problems.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing that really grinds my gears, and I know a lot of other people are the same way, and that is like when someone says, well, you should be able to do X, Y, and Z. And the should is the part that irritates me, because if you can't do it, or if you're not sure if you can do it, like just don't mention it. And there's a lot of things that I've seen personally on social media, TikTok, whatever. And it's like, I go in to actually, and I follow step by step exactly what they said to do, and it does not work like that. And I'm like, so this is going to do away with that type of situation. Let's see, hands-on workshop, tech showcases. And we mentioned a lot of this already. This isn't just theory. We're actually going to roll up your sleeves, and it's going to be very much like a mastermind. And so if you have questions about something, if you're not sure about it, if you know that you want to know, by the time I leave this event, I want to be able to automate X, Y, and Z, come to us before the event even gets started and let us know that, and we'll show you step by step. Because it's, for me, I don't know, there's some times where it's like, it's great for someone to just do it for me. But then there's other times where I want to understand why it's done that way, because there's times where it's like, okay, when it breaks, I want to be able to fix it, or I want to understand why it broke. And if you come to us beforehand and say, hey, there's this complex automation that I want to build out by the time I leave, then we'll have that thing ready for you step by step, so that you understand why it automates the way that it's going to automate. And if it breaks, then you'll understand the why behind it.
Yeah. And I guess as far as the last thing before we start getting into some of the content and some of the other things that we're going to have at the event, so everyone knows what's going on, what to expect, is we all know prices have gone up tremendously over the last couple of years. It is getting, this year, I think, is the first year people have really felt it. Homeowners aren't buying as much. Financing is getting not approved as often. There's more homes on the market that, I don't know, there's some stat where like, it kind of looks almost like the cycle looks like the 2008 crash, when there's just so many houses and not enough buyers, and all the pricing's coming down, and that stuff's starting to really crash. Which, when nobody's moving, nobody's doing anything, everyone's kind of in a holding pattern. When they're in a holding pattern, they don't invest in their homes. And that hits the trades harder than anybody. And so in order to compete and keep our prices to a point where customers can say yes to us still, and we can still grow our businesses, we have to become more efficient. We have to get that really, really, really important thing back in our life, which is time. Yes. Time is literally the one finite resource that we have when it comes to business. And we have to get it back so we can actually run the business. We can promote it more. We can go out and do local community events. But if we're constantly moving paperwork around, copying and pasting someone's name from an email web form into our CRM, and doing some of these monotonous things, we just can't get ahead. So we have to keep charging these prices. And I think that's one of the important things, is we're really trying to combat that with efficiency, not removing people, making them more efficient and making them more human by doing more human tasks versus things that, honestly, like an assembly line or a robot could do for you.
Absolutely. And we will talk AI. Don't think that this is just going to be all about automation. We're going to talk a ton about AI as well. Charles actually mentions here, I love how much you wrote there, because it covers Josh's face up perfectly. Coming from the engineering side, how do you truly distinguish true AI from generative AI and automation? How do you distinguish vendors and service providers that just use AI as a marketing gimmick? In reality, it's a robotic automation rather than AI. And that is a very, very valid point. And
Tersh and I talk about this. We actually were just
all the
talking
time.
about it because immediately there are companies out there that will throw AI into what they do, even though it really doesn't, they don't really do anything with AI. They might
little
do
bit of machine learning,
a little machine learning or something, but it's not like true artificial intelligence, or they're not, you know, I can speak from the marketing side of things because that's obviously what we deal with. They're like, you can get a bunch of AI generated content, which is repurposed from everything else that's been built on the web since forever, but it's not unique. It's not actually new unless you infuse it, right? And you infuse it with, like, for instance, on our podcast, we take the URL and a lot of our social content does go through AI, but it's because the podcast episode is completely from humans that we're able to generate unique content from that AI. And that's some of the stuff, especially I'm super excited about the marketing side for this stuff because there's so much stuff we can do if we generate just a little tiny bit of content. And we can do so much with it as contractors. And honestly, your CRM, I've been sharing some of this stuff, which I think a lot of people have enjoyed from the comments and stuff I've seen, is like, what do we do with a job that gets completed? How can we turn that into social media posts or a video content piece or something else where we take what happens in our normal everyday life and turn it into something that promotes and tries to find the next customer. So there's a lot of stuff like that, but Charles, I don't, you know, it's really hard unless you like take the hood and open it up and be like, what are they actually doing there? So it's a great question, but I don't think we're going to have an answer for you.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right, Josh. I hate to say that. I hate for those words to come out of my mouth, but yeah,
there's just a lot of hot air, and it's just like anything new that comes out. You know, when the trades started having COVID and all these influencers came out, it just became a lot of hot air from a lot of people just because they were the first ones to be loud. There's just the same thing. It's just AI, and AI is the buzzword. Like, everyone wants to attend every session with AI, but a lot of it's not even really AI, and it doesn't actually move data point A to data point B to do data point C. I
will tell you, I'll share a quick story about Josh and I. Whenever we did a presentation about 2 years ago, when AI was first coming to the forefront, the name of the presentation was AI in the trades. And we talked AI, like 80% of the presentation was AI, and it was deep, like legit AI. And we just we looked at each other and we're like, oh no, we've lost everybody because we're talking like AI and not automation. Then we started talking automation in our presentation, and
we shared like an example.
That's what I want. I want the automation side of things. And in reality, that's what a lot of people really want is automation. But it feels a lot like AI when it's done correctly. With that being said, let's get started with the speakers from the event. Our first one that we have up is one of Josh and mine's mentors from a long time. Like, we've been following Marcus for years and years and years. And he has a nice, as far as marketing goes, he's got a really cool story. If you missed it, we recorded a podcast episode with him about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Every single person I have sent that podcast episode has bought his book and immediately been hooked. And I have people that have done it like, okay, I get it now. I'm putting pricing on my website. And he literally has been doing this since 2012 for fiber. Like, think of the services that most of the trades offer. And obviously HVAC system installations are $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 sometimes. So it's expensive, but he was selling fiberglass pool installations from putting content on his website about pricing and what the changes are. And the thing is, I think so many people get caught up in like, I got to have this exact price and I got to honor this exact, almost like they're looking at a restaurant menu. And it's not that way in the trades, but we're so afraid of stepping outside of our comfort zone and honestly, a lot of the business coaching groups are like, no, don't talk about pricing. A lot of them still coach that today.
Well, we've been burnt. Like, as a contractor, I've been burnt by the consumer who's like, just give me a ballpark figure. And you're like, well, it might be $7,000. And then you get there and it's like $9,000. I'm like, whoa, you said it was $7,000. I'm like, no, we said a ballpark figure. And then ever since then, you're kind of gun shy. So I totally understand exactly why people are hesitant, but Marcus has a really cool way of explaining it and kind of helping prevent that from actually being the case.
Yeah, and as far as I know, he has never presented to any event any of the events in our like the skilled trades. He's done some stuff outside of that, but this is a first. Like anyone that comes to this, and Marcus is first of all a fantastic speaker.
Yes,
he's very engaging, and he really knows how to get your attention. But this content has never been shared anywhere at any event, and he has done again, we talk about the people we're bringing have actually done this work that's not theory. He's been doing this for 13 years with his own companies. So he is a master of this. Absolutely.
Next up, we have Steve Scarborough, and he's with LG, and LG being one of our main sponsor. I was surprised when I was researching, and I was like, somebody from corporate LG is going to talk about AI. Like, I don't know about all this. But then I started researching and following Steve and really diving into what it is that he knows. And when it comes to AI, he knows AI. And and it's really cool because he knows AI in the world of HVAC and the world of building automation. Actually, there's a video that I was watching the other day of Steve talking at AHR of last year, and he's talking about chillers and the computing power of actual AI. Your AI machines, they take a ton of computing power. Well, you need to cool that computing power. You have to have a cooling source, and he went into detail in this particular video on how the HVAC world is being affected by the use of AI, which was a really cool topic for him to talk on. Next up is Colleen. Josh, you want to talk a little bit about our buddy Colleen?
That's Kathleen, right?
Yeah, Kathleen.
I texted her today. She sent me some cookies for getting top 40 under 40, which were fantastic. So Colleen, if you're watching, thank you again. I told her, I said, we're going to call her Kathleen on the show today.
That's hilarious.
But Colleen has done a lot of presentations, and honestly, most people know her. If you've been to events, you've probably seen Colleen at some point or another. Like she's a world renowned traveler. Like,
yes,
she does stuff for international HVAC things for women and for just everyone in general. She's great. Like, she has a lot of information. She's going to talk a lot about AI search, which it's growing every day. So it's something it's a reality of my world as well. So honestly, I'm hoping that she teaches me something. I'll be sitting there probably in the front row taking notes just in case, because it's the world we live in. And AI search, from the research I've done, I've said this a couple times. I don't think I've ever said it I think I've said it to you, Tersh, but not live. We are going to get to a point probably in the next year or two where we're going to go back and be like, wow, I wish we could just go back to the days when it was just Google. That was the only beast we had to tame, because now we have to tame Perplexity and AI mode in Google and ChatGPT and whatever else comes along through, Grok, all these other things where we got to try to get our business as a recommended source. So, but consumer behavior has changed. And honestly, that really ties into Marcus Sheridan and stuff, because think about it. It is so easy to get. It wasn't like it was hard to get pricing information, but now, because people are used to like take ChatGPT out and they just talk to it.
Yep.
Voice search, which has been around for a while, and everyone's like, "Oh, you got to get optimized for voice search." Well, voice search has really never taken off.
Gary Vee used to be a major proponent. Like, he was like, write your blog post as if they are being read in Google Voice, so that or in a voice aspect. So when somebody does voice search, you'll show up. And now it's like,
now the voice actually talks to you and laughs and giggles and pauses and does everything else. Like, if you guys have ever talked to your ChatGPT app on your phone.
The crazy thing is how quick it is, how fast it is to actually respond to your messages. There's not a lot of latency. There's like, even in the past 6 or 8 months, the latency's just gone, dropped drastically. But one thing I want to throw in here really fast. So you mentioned taking notes. You'll be on the front row taking notes. We're actually going to be giving away these devices here, a handful of these devices called Plaud. And Josh, you want to go into a little detail?
PLAUD, just because Claude and Plaud rhyme. So I figured we always have to tell people that so they don't go to Claude and be like, hey, where's this device that he's talking about?
Where's that little thing?
Yeah, it's funny. I have mine, but because all of my meetings are virtual, I like rarely use it. But Tersh does still a lot of stuff in person with his HVAC companies. But Plaud is great because honestly, Tersh is even going to be able to show you live how he connects Plaud through Zapier to Slack to put meeting notes and stuff in. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff that we can do with that because that has a Zapier connection as well. But Plaud is literally like a Fathom, a Read AI, an Otter. It takes meeting notes, but in person.
Yep.
So if you're out on a job site and that way the he said, she said stuff from the customer, I know there's tools out there like Rilla and some of that stuff, but some of that stuff is a little pricey for smaller contractors. Plaud is like $160 and you buy it one time and you got to buy some minutes, I think. But the subscription is really inexpensive overall, but you can back up your team a little bit with some of that stuff now and be like, no, that's not what you said. Because Tersh tells a story all the time about this one customer and it's something about a filter and
yes,
anyway.
it was a Rilla thing, and it was a really like she kept saying the office said that you would give me 5 whole home media filters. And our phone calls, they were recorded by CallRail or whatever Service Titan, and then the being out in the field, the technician was recorded using Rilla. And so then the lady calls to the office and says, hey, the technician stood on business. Like, he was like, no, we're not replacing these. That doesn't make any sense at all. Why would we replace 5 whole home media filters on a tune-up visit? And so she calls to the office after the fact, thinking she's talking to someone else, and tells the office that the technician said he would mail her 5 media filters. And so then we go back and listen to the Rilla recording of him while he's in the home, and nope, he kept, I think it was like 10 times she asked for it, and he every time he was like, I'm happy to take care of that for you. If you want to purchase them, I'll be more than happy to install them. But he did a really good job there.
The important point, and we do this a lot with because all of our calls that are virtual are recorded with Fathom. So sometimes we have to go back to the sales call and be like, hey, what was promised or what was told the customer, so we can iron out details either in our sales process or some of our processes after someone becomes a customer. But having that stuff recorded is literally a game changer for your business. Getting all of those interactions recorded are huge.
Absolutely. And speaking of that recording and the interaction with the consumer and the office, Brigham will be there presenting and talking about customer experience and the in-home, or I'm sorry, coaching for the CSRs. So he'll be there. And then Joel will be there with a company called Applause. And this may be a company that you haven't heard of before. They service our industry, but we haven't talked about them a ton on the podcast. But they basically they do a what do you want to? I want to call it reputation management, but that's not what I'm looking for.
I believe it's something that's helping culture internally.
Yes,
gamifying culture and making sure that your team is valued and understand, and obviously
rewarding team members and scorecards and those types of things, and it's all automated. That's what I liked about it. Whenever I was watching the demo for it, is like there's a lot of times where we want to reward teammates for getting 5-star review. We want to reward them for this and that and the others, but then you have to remember to go back to do it, and you have to and you can stay consistent maybe the first month or two, and then all of a sudden something happens, you get busy, and it kind of gets pushed off. Well, we don't do that intentionally as a business owner or managers. So this is just a program that does it all automatically. And even if you get busy, it still is rewarding team members for that performance and the referrals and the reviews and that kind of thing.
I can talk about Zach.
Yeah.
So if you get emails from Relentless Digital or Service Business Mastery, Zach is the maestro behind that. I would love to just say that we're not that great of copywriters and storytellers. Zach is. Zach now does essentially automated email marketing for contractors as part of his larger duties at Prolific Brand Design, where it's a branding company. But again, automation, because those emails can still be personalized, but you can automate it. So this is where the bridging the gap of automation and AI you can see. And then think about a customer that you service today automatically goes into an email series nurtured for the next 12 months or 18 months or whatever that looks like. And it really depends on what you want. This is why it's so important for you to actually start thinking and having these conversations. So, like, what do you want your customer journey to look like? Because I think a lot of times we just serve the customer in front of us and we move on to the next one. We hope to get a review. And then it's like, when I need something, I'll contact you in 6 months if I'm slow.
Right.
And now we can nurture those customers with really good value-driven, story-driven emails that get opens. Like, I can tell you from the analytics from the emails Zach sends out for us, we get very good open rates, and the content.
I was extremely surprised the first time when I was looking at it. I was like, well, this has got to be a fluke. And that's been 6 months and we're still getting the same open rates and click-through rates and stuff like that. So yeah, he does a great job with that. This is not another expo hall packed with booths. We will have vendors there without them, the event doesn't happen. Yeah, absolutely.
There's no way we don't have this kind of money laying around.
Yeah. And, but we definitely, it's going to be a hands-on event. We are looking for it to be interactive, hands-on workshop, instead of a ton of theoretical, lectures in the lecture hall.
And if you think about, I just talked about the customer journey, you get to experience firsthand the Savannah Bananas in their VIP box. If I've never been to a game, I almost have done when they come to Tucson and Scottsdale and out in Arizona by me. I just haven't had a chance. But when you talk about branding and being different in a crowded marketplace, think about it, they're competing with a $10 billion industry in Major League Baseball.
Yep.
And they decided, I'm not going to compete directly with him. I'm going to go this route. And they have they get more fans for their games than the actual Major League Baseball teams do, because they're so entertaining. They're so unique. And then there's just lessons. Anytime I've ever gone a place where the customer service is just completely next level, I always come back with ideas for my business. Okay, we can do better here. And we can do, because you just get outside of the normal daily business stuff. Mm-hmm. So to be able to see that and experience that, and then be able to network with other people in a VIP box, I think is going to be absolutely phenomenal.
It will be. And so one of the things, we talked about this a little bit earlier, the swipe right on automations. It's a fun, playful energy, like speed dating, but for automations. Attendees will connect with the vendors in a fast and interactive way. But we also, we're going to do a rock, paper, scissors contest, some prizes, maybe some meta glasses. I don't actually have mine sitting right here, but actually I do have one right here. For those of you who are not familiar with the meta glasses, they have actual AI built into them, and they can record video and audio in 4K. So we'll give away a pair of those. I know at least one pair.
And they make you look smarter. They add at least 10 IQ points when you put them on, I swear.
Right.
Because Church actually looks intelligent when he puts them on, and that is a miracle in of itself.
That is. So why now? The trades and the industry. I'll be honest with you. Part of the reason why we're doing it the day that we're doing it is because of the bananas. But with AI and automation, and just new tech in general, there's such confusion. And
a lot of questions. I honestly, it's funny because I remember when Tersh and I would start talking about stuff. We go into the Service Titan Masterminds group when we were both using Service Titan, and I'd search for Zapier or automation, and there's no post. Nobody was talking about it. I think Steve Cassette would usually talk about it, and there was nobody else. And I'm like, So Trish and I would have to talk about it and be like, and at that point, Zapier didn't have nearly as many connection points with all these different tools. So it was limited. And now with Zapier's got a lot of AI stuff built into it with agents and MCP protocols, which we talk about when we're there because it's going to confuse you guys.
Yeah.
But there's like almost every day now I'm seeing automation posts, AI posts, like people are constantly asking these questions. And it felt like the time was right to do this year because the attention on it has gotten to the point where people actually are going to want to sit down and learn this, because otherwise, like the old way Tersh and I used to do this was like someone would say, I would love to do automation. I want to do automation. What can I automate? And then we would ask, well, what do you want to automate? And it was just this like game where we just go back and forth and we wouldn't actually get an answer because most people don't even know what's possible. So by sitting in a room with 150 people that were talking about this all weekend long, it's to create ideas. So that way you can go back and implement these things right away and start opening up kind of Pandora's box of possibilities for your business.
Absolutely. Why Savannah? I mean, if you've never been to Savannah,
Tersh doesn't like to travel.
Yeah, no, I don't like to travel actually.
And he's bougie. He's got a lot of suitcases when he travels. So
3 at that 70-pound limit, 1 for just shoes. No, I'm kidding.
He's not kidding.
I'm not really. So the DeSoto is a historic hotel here in Savannah, and it's if you haven't gathered it, I'm in Savannah, and also very good friends with Jesse and Emily Cole, the founders of the Savannah Bananas baseball team, and Jared Orton, who's the president of the Savannah Bananas. So you're going to experience the Savannah Bananas VIP experience, and it's one that is it's not one that you normally would experience. So sometimes it's weird because we've experienced it for so many times that we forget how awesome it is. But then to see someone else experience it is like, yes, this is what we're doing this for. And so there's a definite mixture of Southern hospitality mixed in there with learning as much as possible. So it's this. If you're not familiar with the Bananas, you're going to learn a lot about marketing and doing business differently just by going to the game. And if you're a massive baseball fan, I want to prepare you that Savannah Bananas banana ball is for those of people who do not like baseball. So if you love baseball, everything about baseball,
I would say because I like baseball and I've coached and played and everything else, but if you're a baseball purist where you like the traditional rules and all that stuff, that you're probably going to be a little disappointed.
Well, it's not even that. You just want to look at it in a different light, a different aspect of like, okay, we're looking at marketing and how doing business different. Like whatever's normal, do the exact opposite. That's one of the things that Jesse says. He wears a yellow tuxedo in the airport.
Dude, they do so many cool things. Like I started, and again, probably because my phone hears me talk about this because of the event and all the conversations we're having. I'm starting like my Facebook reels is all like every third reel is the Bananas. And I've listened to some of Jesse's, dude, the offers that he has turned down to continue this experience. It like, honestly, most of us, anyone listening to this probably would not have turned down those offers.
Oh yeah.
He's getting huge offers. You don't pay sales tax when they pay the tax on the tickets for you instead of us. Like, you know how you always get like a ticket and then there's a surcharge, and then there's another fee and another fee, like a county fee and a state fee for taxes. They take care of all that. Like, it's very unique. Everything they do. They took down all of the marketing inside the stadium. Like, you know, if you go to a baseball game or football, the sides of the field are always lined with tons and tons of sponsors.
Nope.
Like all of that stuff is gone. They've just completely gone the other way. And it just gives you a different perspective on how to think about your business, because right now, like, we talk a little bit about gurus and following certain people and business practices. Well, that game plan has been the same game plan for 30 years. It hasn't changed a whole lot, except the technology is new and the pricing has gone up and some of the equipment we install is new, but they've gone, like, everyone's going this way and they're going this way.
Mhm.
And it just gives you a perspective that's unique about your business. And I think that's the biggest takeaway I'm going to get from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Why you? This is built for contractors, leaders, and individuals.
Literally by contractors, because I mean, if you don't know, I was a contractor for a while. Tersh is still a contractor. He's been for 20 years now. Like we have literally done the things that we're going to show you and we're going to teach you. And we've asked all of the speakers and the vendors there to bring their latest, greatest AI and automation tips and tools for you, and even some of their giveaways and stuff. So that way it's all focused on the now and the future instead of the way we were doing things 3 to 5 years ago. And to the best of my knowledge, there has not been one event. Rillo was probably the closest because it was a lot of technology focus.
Yeah, forward thinkers.
But as far as like implementing these things into your business, there's been breakouts, but not like whole events centered around this. And that's why it's so unique. And that's why would love to see you there.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're excited to have you there. You'll leave with things that are already in motion. Like that's the biggest thing that I want you to take away from this is like, it's not theory. Just like Josh said, you're going to actually build out things while we're sitting there. So make sure you bring your laptop. Sure, bring a notepad. But if you have any way of being able to access your platforms to build these automations out, we want you to be able to do that. If you're using Service Titan now, if you're using Sarah, if you're using House Call Pro, whatever CRM you're using, we want you to have access to that CRM so that you can actively start building out some of these automations or implement some of the AI tools that we will be talking about there on site. That way we can help answer questions right then, knock it out right at that moment, instead of putting it off, because we all know how it works. When you go to an event, you get all these great ideas and you're like, oh, that's perfect. We need to implement that. And then you get back and you're like, oh, it's busy. Like, let's put out these fires. And that's the other thing. We wanted to do it on a weekend. That way you're not missing.
Hopefully your phone's not blowing up on the weekend. If it is, we'll have a different conversation with you.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's the reason why that we really wanted you to be able to implement it and then get back to work and make things make you some money.
Yeah, I mean, our goal, like I said, is to save you time. So even if we can start with 1 hour a week, where one automation is saving you 1 hour a week, think about that's 52 hours a month. That's, I mean, and these things compound too. And that's usually what we talk about in our breakout sessions. And that's also why we were asked to keynote Service World Expo this year, is because this stuff, like, the trades needs more of this. Instead of just working harder and grinding and putting in more hours and working overtime, we need time with our families. We need time to relax. We need time to just get out of the business and stop working 80-hour weeks. Like the days where overtime was cool are gone. I mean, I know a lot of us business owners probably still work overtime, but it used to be. I remember the first trade company I ever worked at, I was putting up ads on Craigslist back in the day. That's dating myself a little bit, but I was offering unlimited overtime.
Yeah.
I would never get away with that today. People would be like, yeah, screw this guy. So, and this is stuff that these things that we implement aren't necessarily just for you. They're also for your people.
Absolutely.
They're for your, like, we're going to have some stories from some people that they literally have had their executive assistants in the Philippines do these automations and save time for the business owner.
Absolutely.
Like they've saved, and I'm not talking like an hour, I'm talking like literally dozens, if not hundreds of hours a year. And the EAs and the virtual assistants love it.
Yep.
And we want to bring that same stuff to you. Like we're all of our templates that we built with Zapier. If you're in any of our Facebook groups, or like the House Call Pro, Sarah, or Service Titan group, we're going to have those all as a resource for you. You're going to be able to take them away when you come to the event. So it's literally like 300 different templates. It's not meant to overwhelm you. It's just meant to give you ideas. But you're going to be able to see the step-by-step. So once you understand how to do some of this stuff, it's going to be easier for you to implement the next one, or create the process, hire the assistant, have the assistant do it, and give yourself even more time back in your day.
Yeah. You just got to be careful not to fill your time that you get back
with 6 different businesses.
With more stuff.
I'm not speaking about anyone on this call.
Right. Guilty. We're guilty of that. We got you a discount code here, promo code live bonus for $500 off for signing up. We did have this question here, Carol. Can you use this software can you use this with any software? Sorry, a little dyslexia kicked in there for a second. For the most part, yes. And there are some softwares out there that do not have an open API. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically the key that lets you communicate with other platforms. And what we'll do is teach you workarounds. And they don't work all the time. And that's the other thing. You have to understand that there are limitations with AI. Just because in theory it will work, we're going to actually test it and show you yes or no for sure this will work or this will not work. If you're not sure, if you're constantly being told, hey, your software does not do X, Y, and Z, Carol, send us a private message and we'll let you know beforehand. But just keep in mind that this isn't just how to like use AI with your CRM or your FSM. This is
there's a lot of other things you can do.
Tons of other things. Internal communication, external communication, taking reviews, using AI to extract information from the review to create a reply, and then taking AI and creating social media posts from that, the review that you just received, and all of that stuff instantly. And the amount of time, what was it, Josh, that we have a slide deck that actually AI generated for us that explained the amount of time that was saved just by using AI to respond to reviews. I want to say it's something like 720 hours a year.
Well, I think that was the three different ones that we shared, but like it was just replying to Google reviews with AI and then creating a social media post.
Okay.
For those, which of course that's like you can do even more with that stuff than we even gave you or gave the people that attended those breakouts. And it scales. Like the more reviews you get, the more time you save, because Tersh has been that guy replying reviews. I was that person in the trades and I would get way behind on that task. And honestly, like, especially like the 5 stars with no comments, I didn't know what to say. Like, well, thanks for the review. Like, well, what do you say to that? AI at least comes up with a more empathetic response. I'm just like, yeah, thanks. Like, I just want to move on to the next thing because I knew I had to reply to them. But the one thing that was literally like the first automation I ever built. That's why it's one I always like bringing up, is literally because back in the day, we couldn't do as much with it. It was like you always had to put your logo or some sort of image, and it was always the same image. And now you can do all kinds of crazy things with it. But I literally, every 5-star review, I wanted to get off of Google and put on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and any other text-based. I think we even put it on Twitter, even though we had like 5 followers on Twitter. That was back when it was actually Twitter, not X. And just doing that, like it ended up, I was at the company I implemented this for when I started, we had like 46 reviews. I ended up, we were like 600 when we left, but we weren't getting a lot of love on Facebook group posts. And then by the end, I have little screen share videos where we dominated Facebook groups because we were always telling everyone everywhere essentially how awesome we were. And that's the economy we live in today. That's the market we live in. If you're not telling people what's going on in your business, they're just going to move on. Like there's so much, you have to capture that attention, and it is what it is. And we're going to teach you some ways to easily do that. So that way you don't have to manually do it or manually think of ideas or constantly be brainstorming. I
have 2 things I want to give for those who are still here, and just a quick and easy way to use ChatGPT and the agents model inside of ChatGPT. If you're not familiar, there's a little, I want to say it's a little plus. I'm doing this solely from memory. I want to say it's a little drop down arrow or the plus button, and you click agents and have the agent go in and search in your area. This is 2 things. We can actually use that agent to search all your competitors' 1-star reviews. I used to actually pay a VA to do this way back in the day, but this can all be done automatically. And then so their reviews, you want it to search all their 1 and 2-star reviews, and then have that same agent create a video script sharing exactly like create a video script explaining how we solved that problem. So then they see these 1-star reviews from your competitors. Then you have a video that you've uploaded to YouTube, which is the second largest search engine platform. As soon as they search like solutions to that problem, then you pop up, you're the person that solves that problem. That's one thing to do. The second thing to do with agents inside of ChatGPT is to ask that agent why you're not ranked number 1, and give a step-by-step guide on what you need to do to implement each week. And you can have it so it reminds you every single morning with your next step of what to do to make it so that you rank number 1. And that's just 2 quick, very quick, off the cuff takeaways there for ChatGPT. So if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to Joshua or myself. We're more than happy to help out with this.
Yeah, you can see we're already giving away things that we're going to talk about in person. So
yeah,
and then that's why we wanted to put this together. There's so much information, and sometimes Tersh and I can go off on tangents a little bit because we know so much, which sometimes is a detriment. But we want to, because we've learned this and because we've been in this world of automation and now AI for a long time, we want to give this stuff back because we know it's confusing. We know it's this land of, we don't know how to navigate it, and we want to be your guides to help you through that. Absolutely. And I think it's important to have someone that you trust that actually has done this and actually has implemented in their business, because a lot of people are selling this or selling courses, and honestly, they're probably having the AI put together the course and they haven't actually done the work. Like we literally can show you examples from our Zapier account. We have over 100,000 tasks a month. We're gonna do over 1 million tasks automated this year alone.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Remember, tapintothefuture.ai live bonus for $500 off the first 10 people that sign up. So hope you have a wonderful and safe week. We'll talk to you soon.